Okay, sorry about that, guys. Had a call come through and it doesn't seem to matter. I can't get the phone to alert me to calls when I want it to. And then when I turn on Do Not Disturb and I shut everything off and no calls are supposed to come through, I get all these calls and text messages. So it messes with the camera. So sorry about that. Welcome back to our weekly Friday Create With Me live event. I'm very excited to have you guys back this week. And if you would like to participate in this class in the future, what you can do is visit my website, crazymomcraftsalot.com. And it's there in the details of the live on the video comment section. And what you can do is subscribe to the newsletter and select get the supply list for the Create With Me live event. And what I do is I send you out a supply list a couple days in advance so you can get everything together. And that way, Friday, we can all come back together and hopefully craft along with each other. So I would love it if you have questions or if you have things that you want to share, to go ahead and put it in the comments section. And if you guys would like to, when you're done with your card, please take a picture and put it in the comments section so that we can all see it and we can all ooh and ah over your creation as well. If you don't have everything that is in the supply list, that's okay. Feel free to email me, preferably before the event, and that way I can help you guys to work out substitutions, and it lets me know who else might need to substitute as well. A couple quick announcements before we get started today. Today, the 15th, if you attended my catalog launch party that I held on the 9th of this month, today is the last day to use your $5 coupon that came in the catalog. So be sure if you were thinking to place an order today, you may want to do that so that you can claim your $5 coupon. And let me know when you go to place your order. If you have any problems with that, I'll let you know because there's not a coupon code. What I do is I have to go in and manually refund you guys. So that's kind of how that works for now. Hopefully in the future, we'll be able to set our own codes a little bit better. The other thing that we have going on, yay, this is Celebration time. If you've never heard of Celebration, it's a super extra exciting time of the year. For every $50 you spend in my online store before shipping and handling and tax, you get to pick an item out of this beautiful catalog. It's super, super cute. So be sure to check that out on the website as well. There's information about that. The other thing that is coming up this week, so many events, is tomorrow starts the class registration. It opens up tomorrow for the Dragonfly Garden class that is going to be held next month. So it will be held the second Wednesday of the month as far as the release date. I have a live question and answer session. But what I do is these classes are now classes to go. As of the turn of the year, all my classes have become classes to go. What this means is when you purchase the class, depending on which level you choose to purchase, I will send you the class a couple days in advance. And then we have a live Zoom session at a specified date and time. And that way, if you have any questions or you're struggling with anything, you're more than welcome to come on and ask me questions and visit with the others that are on the question and answer session on Zoom. And if you've already done your cards, you can come on and share your cards and your creations with all of us. So it's a nice little time to associate and have, you know, your cup of coffee or tea or what have you. So that's what's going on. Check your email for that here in the next couple of days. That should be going out tomorrow morning, the 16th. The other thing is the Zoom hostess code, or the hostess code rather, will change tomorrow. So I changed the hostess codes on the 1st and the 16th of every month. So any orders that you're going to place tomorrow forward to the end of the month need to use that hostess code if you would like to get the $50 bonus gift from me. And also it counts towards butterfly rewards points. Again, all that information is on the website, so feel free to pop on over and check that out. The only other thing is, if you guys could be so helpful, I would really, really love it. I'm getting some feedback that comments are not working on the blog. So if you happened to pop on over to the Create With Me blog post today to check out the card in advance. I'd love it if you would scroll to the bottom and leave me a comment, and that would let me know if it's working, because it's working on my side, but I've had some people contact me and say your comment section's not working. So I think it is now. Let me know, leave a comment, and that will help. That would troubleshoot that. I would really love your guys' comments on the blog post and your help to see if that's working. So thank you guys in advance for your help. Let's get to today's card. I'm going to go ahead and switch us to the other view. There we go. Enough of my face there. Okay, so this is the card that I have set up for us to do today. And I want to share with you guys a couple different techniques and a substitution as well that we were trying to work out right before. If you do not have a reinker bottle. So this stamp set comes from the Corner Boutique Stamp. And this is a stamp set that you can earn out of that Celebration catalog for free with the qualifying purchase. So we're going to use this gorgeous stamp today. And we're also going to work with this fun stamp today. And this is also a Celebration stamp set. Again, you can earn for free with a qualifying purchase. But I love this stamp. It has "We're in this together." I can't promise to always fix your problems, but I can promise you won't ever face them alone. Sorry for your loss. I don't know what I would do without you. Thank you. And the one that we're going to use today. So I really think that this is a fantastic stamp set, especially for offering encouragement and comfort to our friends and loved ones now, because it's been tough for everyone. That's just how it's been. So to get started for today's class, I'm going to go ahead and pull out my white cardstock piece and my colored cardstock piece. And the measurements are in the supply list. And I think they're on the blog post as well. So I don't have those measurements sitting in front of me. And to do this fun technique, it's called the baby wipe technique. What you're going to do, I like to use an empty stamp case, and I put inside 2 layers of a baby wipe. Now these are lint-free, alcohol-free, and fragrance-free baby wipes. You want them lint-free because you don't want any of the lint to stick to your stamp, because then you're going to have all those little fibers in your card, and that's no fun. You want them alcohol-free because alcohol can actually break down your stamp sets over time. So it's really best to avoid that if you can avoid that. And fragrance-free is to not hurt people like me and those around the world who deal with multiple chemical sensitivity. Those fragrances can actually still stay on your card even after you have stamped them and sent them off to people. So just to be considerate of those who may have that condition. And unfortunately, it's a growing number of Americans as well who are developing this condition. So just to be, considerate of them, I always recommend using fragrance-free items. So the colors that I'm working with today, and I'm sorry for the lighting, guys, I can only do so much with that, but I'm working with Poppy Parade. And what I recommend is, if you're going to try this technique, I would either work with warm colors or you're going to work with cool colors. Okay. And the reason why we do that is to try to keep the colors from getting too muddy. And I'm going to show you here. I'm just going to put some drops of reinker across the baby wipe, about the size that my stamp is. The next color I'm working with is Granny Apple Green. Now, Granny Apple Green, I'm a little bit more careful, because if you start putting the green near, too close to the reddish colors, it will become muddy. So I'm putting it near, but not right on top of. And you can see how the ink kind of spreads out. So this is a fun way to use your reinker bottles. So I think that's plenty of green. I'm actually going to add a couple more drops of the poppy red in here. And then the final color that I was working with today is Bumblebee. So this is that cute new yellow in color that was released June of last year. And I'm going to kind of fill in all the blank spaces. Okay. I can clean it off at the same time. That's kind of nice. So I'll let that sit for just a second. And what I'll show you is if you don't have reinker bottles, okay? I tried something just a few minutes ago and it seemed like it worked out well. If you do not own reinker bottles, what you can do is take a clear block. The next thing that I did was I went ahead, I'm using Pacific Point here. I went ahead and I just added the ink to my clear block by pressing on the block. I'm also using Gorgeous Grape. I'm going to go ahead and add that as well. Okay, so I've added quite a bit. If you don't have baby wipes or you choose not to use baby wipes, another alternative is to get a paper towel and just kind of wet it and then wring it out a bit so it's damp. Okay, what you can do, you've added ink to your block. I'm just going to take the block now and transfer that ink onto my wet wipe or paper towel. That's pretty simple, right? Okay, so I went ahead and I've transferred the ink. Going back to our original technique with the wet wipes and the reinkers though, what I will do next, bring my cardstock back in, my white cardstock back in, and I'm going to go ahead and tap. Oh, wow, you can see that. That's awesome. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that there in the light well enough. Just pressing my my stamp onto the wet wipe to pick up the ink. Then I'll go ahead and transfer that ink to the Whisper White cardstock. And that is how you will get this super cute, it's almost like a watercolor effect design. So if you guys can see that. And then I'm going to, I wasn't planning on doing this, so bear with me. I'm going to clean off my stamp. And I'm going to do another one with the cool colors that I did here. Something else about this technique that I did try out this week, so I was really excited to find this out, but I did go ahead and just keep my wet wipe in the empty stamp case that I had put it in, and it's been good for several days now. So the moisture retained inside the stamp case. So this is not a use it one time and then you throw it out. You can, now I don't know how long it will stay moist, and I'm not quite certain if you could reactivate it with like a mister. If you were to just mist over it lightly, I wouldn't run it underwater or anything, but if you misted over the ink where it is right now, you could probably reuse it several times. So if anybody tries that out, I would love to hear how that works for you. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to spin this around here. And now I'm going to try it with the cool colors. Oh, that's so cool. Ah, okay, let's see how that comes out. Oh, oh wow. Can you guys see that? Oh, if I could get the lighting any better. Look at that. That is so awesome. You can see it's almost like a little bit modeled. It really gave it a really cute technique. So you see the one where I just transferred from the clear block onto the baby wipe, you get this like mottled watercolor effect. And the one that I did the reinker, it's more dispersed because of how we were able to drop, the reinker drops around. So I'm going to go ahead and how do I want to do this? I think I'm going to stack one on top of the other and close this. I really think that if you were to let these dry out, you could just mist them to reactivate them. So I'm going to try that out myself and see what happens. But I think that would be fun because this is a technique that you could revisit in the future too. I did go ahead and give the other one that I had tested out staying in the case. I gave that to my 7-year-old, and I think he's actually in the other room right now. He may be doing that right now. So I like this too because, if you're going to have kids work with it or whatever, they're not messing with like your good ink pad, but they can still get a lot of ink from the baby wipe. So let me clean up over here because I'm kind of I'm bathing in ink over here. Let me get my block switched out. I'm going to go ahead and mount. It seems like all I've been making these days is sympathy cards, so we'll have to start switching it up here soon. Okay. Now I'm going to show you guys. For this, I just went ahead and used plain Memento black ink. And I stamped that up in the corner. Very simple, right? I'll do that for this one as well. Boy, I really love how that came out too. Okay, so then we have this one as well. Okay, so these are our card fronts. These go on the front of our card. Now, if you want to take it up a notch and you want to move on to the step 2 card, you could add the sentiment to a die cut and add a little ribbon in here. And I went ahead and I did those already. So if you're a beginner or maybe you're just getting kind of started, you may stop right here and that's perfectly fine. It's going to be a gorgeous, super cute card ready to go and encourage someone. But if you want to take it up a notch, you can go ahead and stamp on a die cut. And this die cut came from, oh, what is the name? Hold on and I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Stitched So Sweetly. It came from the Stitched So Sweetly dies. Okay. So now if you wanted to, you could go ahead and just add your die cut to your card front. And that will take it up a notch. Add your little ribbon here if you wanted to. But for you advanced stampers, I want to show you one more thing before I do that. what I chose to do, let's see here. Okay. Sorry, I thought I better get scratch paper for this. If you want to take it up a notch, again, you don't have to. You can stop at this step right here. But if you want to take it up a notch, what I did is I went ahead and I added Memento black ink onto a clear block. And I did a pretty thick layer here, as you can see. If you had a Memento black reinker, you could use that as well and just put a drop or two on here. The next thing I used is my aqua painter. If you don't have an aqua painter, you could just use a little cup of water and a small paintbrush. That works fine too. But I'm going to use my aqua painter. And I'm going to drop a couple drops of water on this. Not a lot, just maybe one or two. Or three. And I'm going to kind of mix it in and get it on my brush. And I want it to be pretty loose here. And I'm going to allow the paint, or the dye rather, to kind of pool. And here's where it's going to get crazy. So I would put some paper towels down or put a little bit of scratch paper down. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let the water kind of pool with the dye towards the bottom. And I'm going to flick. Hope you guys can see that here. I'm going to flick the dye ink onto my card. So I'm just, as I'm pulling and bringing it down, I'm letting the brush flick down and towards, I'm directing the brush towards my card. Okay. So now, clean my brush out. I just take my paintbrush or my aqua painter and I squeeze the water and I paint off onto a scrap, either a baby wipe or a paper towel. It can even be a thicker sheet of paper. And I squeeze and I paint until it runs clear. When it runs clear, I know it's good to go. You can also get up and take it to the bathroom and run it under the sink, the faucet, but given that I'm sitting here, I'm not going to do that. So anyhow, I got most of it off. And I'll show you what we got here. I'll clean the rest of the ink off my block. I wipe down my surface. It doesn't go too far, and what's nice is it just wipes right off. Okay. Make sure my surface is dry again before I stick anything on it. So what you guys can be doing is, if you're letting your table or spot dry, this takes a second, but can you guys see the splatter effect on your card front? Now, I had intended to cover this up with this other die cut that I just stamped, but it's got a really cute look. If you guys can see the splatter, even if I was to leave that. But for our more advanced stampers, I wanted to show you guys how you can step it up a bit. So let's go ahead and we're going to mount our card front to another card layer. I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. Yeah. And I tell you guys all the time, I tend to always put mine on and I mount it horizontal, and that way I can see the 3 sides to make sure it's even. Okay. All right, so I've got those 2 pieces down and together. Now I can go ahead and mount them to our card base, which is the 5.5 inch, 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. We'll go ahead and mount this to our card base. I'm just checking here to see if there's any comments. Okay. How are we doing here, you guys? You guys have any questions? You can pop them in the comments. Or any thoughts? Are you trying the beginner or the intermediate or the advanced version of this? Okay. So I have those 2 mounted. The next thing I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to pop my die up. And again, this is only if you're taking it to the advanced level. If you are stopping at more of a beginner card, that is completely fine. You can mount your card front to your colored cardstock and then mount the whole thing to the base and you're done. Easy, simple, it's ready to go. But I did want to show you guys how to step it up if you wanted to. All right, so we're up to here. I went ahead and added the die cut and I popped it up. And then the last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add my fun little bow down here. And I'll use some glue dots to do that. And there you have it. So we have kind of more beginner stamper, still getting to do this fun technique. And then we have a little bit more what we call a casual stamper. And that has added the die cut flat and the ribbon. And then we have for our advanced stampers and crafters, we've popped up our die and then we've added the splatter technique as well. So I hope you guys had fun with this technique. I hope you guys were able to learn something new or be reminded of a technique you haven't done in a while. Don't forget to visit the blog, crazymomcraftsalot.com. to check out the post, and it also gives you and provides you the card measurements and the supply list. So you're welcome to go do that. And then if you want to be able to stamp along at the same time each week, don't forget to sign up for the newsletter so that you too can receive the supply list. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you all again next week. Bye.